I know it seems like a while ago, but recently we did have the Wonder Woman movie event in-game in Injustice 2, where you can unlock the Wonder Woman gear from the movie, and people love it. Unfortunately, since then my progress got wiped, so I'll never be able to obtain it again unless they repeat the same event. That kind of sucks to be me, but I want to talk about the chances of CW skins showing up in the game, or CW gear. First of all, before I get into this video, please go down to the straw poll in the description. It's not a big deal. It's not like, the result of this is going to somehow impact what NetherRealm does. I'm just kind of curious as to what you guys think. Would you guys prefer to see CW gear, or would you prefer to see an entire Premier skin? That way we can get the voice lines from Grant Gustin and Melissa Benoist and, all the CW actors and actresses. So let's first go through all the characters that are actually on the TV shows and who could possibly get Premier skins. Supergirl, obviously, Black Canary, Firestorm, Green Arrow, Captain Cold, and even Superman, technically. I mean, he hasn't been on the show for very long, but he is on Supergirl. I don't think we would get a Premier skin for him just because his character isn't really used too much on the Supergirl show. But the rest of these characters are used enough and popular enough that they could totally get Premier skins. Or, gear sets. One thing to keep in mind when voting on this is that you would probably have to pay for Premier skins if they were in the game, because you'd have to spend source crystals, which is fine. You have to pay for skins in every other game. But with the gear system, you could feasibly unlock them, but you wouldn't have those voice lines and the character wouldn't have the same facial structure as the characters from the TV shows. Which makes sense, because it's obviously a whole lot more work for them to create a Premier skin than it is for them to create a piece of gear, because the people that already work at their studios can model the gear pieces right there from the studio, where if you wanted to do a Premier skin, you would actually have to fly in the actors and make sure they record some motion capture stuff, get them to read all of the voice lines. It's a whole lot of work. I would much prefer the game to have Premier skins over the gear sets. One of the reasons for this is obviously the voice lines, right? The voice lines are a really big deal to us, the fans, especially if you watch both the CW shows and you just happen to be a fan of fighting games and you play the Injustice games. Like, I'm a huge fan of Melissa Benoist's Supergirl, and I'm also a huge fan of Grant Gustin and Captain Cold. Oh my god, it'd be so cool. For some reason, the actor's name is slipping my mind. Is it Wentworth Miller? Let me look it up real quick. Hey, it totally is Wentworth Miller. Look at me go, dude. He does a fantastic job at playing the Captain Cold character, and I'd love to get a chance to play as him in-game. Even if he's just repeating the same voice lines as the characters we already have in the game, it would still be so awesome. One thing I can confirm is that, well, not really confirm, but what I can say is highly unlikely is the possibility of a Captain Cold gear loadout from the CW. I think if you wanted to do CW Captain Cold, it would have to be a straight up Premier skin, because all of Captain Cold's gear in the game hides his face. So they probably don't even have a finished model of this man's face. It's probably like that there's nothing under that mask. There doesn't need to be, because it's never shown. And obviously he doesn't wear a mask in the CW shows, so if we ever do get CW Premier skins, unfortunately it probably won't be for a while until the next seasons start up. Premier skins or the gear sets, whichever one they do, they're going to cross over with the TV shows somehow. Like, there's going to be some implementation. The question is just gear or Premier skin. And it's a shame because we probably won't find out what the answer to that question is for quite some time. The CW shows don't start up again until October, or at least The Flash doesn't. So, quite a long while away, but regardless, if we end up getting a Grant Gustin Premier skin, you can bet that I start meaning The Flash for no reason other than that. And the same can be said for literally all of the CW characters. Because I like the gameplay of Captain Cold, Black Canary, Supergirl, Green Arrow. I could totally see myself spending more time with these characters, especially if they got a CW skin. We're kind of in this weird limbo state where we don't know if we're going to get Premier skins or gear. And the precedent that they've set is that gear is the way to go, obviously with the Wonder Woman movie gear. But personally, I think we are going to get Premier skins. The movies, it's much harder for them to do Premier skins for, because obviously the movies have much more high-level actors. Not high-level actors as in better actors, but much more high-paid and therefore more busy actors. It's much harder to get Will Smith to come into the studio than it is to get Stephen Amell to come into the studio. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited about the potential for CW Premier skins? If there was CW Premier skins in the game, which CW character would you end up maining? Personally, I'm hoping that Vibe is one of the remaining 6 DLC characters. I'm probably going to do an updated DLC wishlist now that there's only 6 slots left. And because half of my wishlist ended up being Premier skins or already on the DLC list or whatever. Before I end off this video, I just wanted to let you guys know, in the future, I want to do a Q&A. I'm not sure when I want to do this Q&A, but eventually I would like to do it. But make sure you leave your comments on this video with a hashtag Q&A so it helps me find the questions for that video. Again, not sure when that video will be coming, but it will be coming sometime in the future. Anywho, thank you guys for watching this video. My name has been Bilbzy, and I'll see you in the next video.